Today we will discuss about arch of the foot. This is left-sided articulated foot. Dorsum of the foot is convex and convexity directed upwards. The sole of the foot is concave and concavity directed downwards. This articulated foot is composed of 3 sets of bone. These are tarsals, these are metatarsals, and these are phalanges. These tarsals are short bone. Metatarsals and phalanges are miniature long bone. Tarsals are 7 in number. They are talus, calcaneum, cuboid, navicular, and 3 cuneiform: medial cuneiform, intermediate cuneiform, lateral cuneiform. Metatarsals are 5 in number. This one is fast, it is short and stout. By this morphological appearance, we can identify it easily. The 5th metatarsal has a tubercle. Phalanges are 14 in number, 4 great toe and 3 for other toes. Now joints. In between talus, calcaneum and navicular. Talocalcano-navicular joint is ball and socket variety of synovial joint. Calcaneum and cuboid. Calcano-cuboid joint, this is saddle variety of synovial joint. And rest of the intertarsal joints are plain variety of synovial joint. Between tarsals and metatarsals, tarso-metatarsal joint, these are plain type of synovial joint. Metatarsophalangeal joint, these are ellipsoid type of synovial joint, and interphalangeal joint is hinge variety of synovial joint. Now arch of the foot, it is divided into 2. Longitudinal arch is again divided into medial longitudinal arch and lateral longitudinal arch. The medial longitudinal arch is formed by first 3 metatarsal, 3 cuneiform, cuboid, medial half of the talus and medial half of the calcaneum. The summit of the medial longitudinal arch is formed by superior surface of the talus. The anterior end of the medial longitudinal arch is formed by head of the first 3 metatarsal bone. The posterior end is formed by medial tubercle of the calcaneum, and the anterior pillar of the medial longitudinal arch is formed by 3 metatarsal, 3 cuneiform and navicular, and the posterior pillar of the medial longitudinal arch is formed by medial half of the calcaneum. The lateral longitudinal arch is formed by 4th and 5th metatarsal bone, cuboid, and lateral half of the talus, lateral half of the calcaneum. The posterior tubercle of the lateral tubercle of the calcaneum forms the posterior end of the lateral longitudinal arch. The head of the 4th and 5th metatarsal bone form the anterior end of the lateral longitudinal arch. summit is formed by the lateral half of the superior surface of the talus, and antropillar is formed by 4th, 5th metatarsal and cuboid. Posterior pillar of the lateral longitudinal arch is formed by lateral half of the calcaneum. The transverse longitudinal arch is divided into anterior and posterior longitudinal transverse arch. The anterior transverse arch is formed by 5 metatarsals, and it is complete because the anterior end of the transverse arch touch the ground, but the posterior transverse arch, it is incomplete because the medial end of the posterior metatarsal arch cannot touch the ground. When the another side of the foot unite it, then it forms a complete dome. Then the arch will complete. Now, movement of the subtalar joint. Movement of subtalar joint is inversion and eversion. This movement is called inversion, in which the medial margin of the foot is elevated and the sole faces medially. This movement is performed by tibialis anterior, tibialis posterior, flexor hallucis longus and flexor digitorum longus. The eversion of the movement is like this. In this movement, the lateral margin of the foot is elevated and sole of the foot faces laterally, and this is performed by peroneus longus, peroneus brevis and peroneus tertius. This is ankle joint. It is formed by the inferior surface of the tibia and fibula. It articulates with the superior surface of the talus. This is modified hinge joint. The movement of ankle joint is dorsiflexion and plantar flexion. The dorsiflexion is performed by tibialis anterior, flexor digitorum longus and flexor hallucis longus. The plantar flexion is performed by gastrocnemius and soleus.